Paul Goldsmith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My pleasure to speak on this bill. The Unitary Plan, I want to focus on the Auckland Unitary Plan, which is a very, very important document for the city and indeed for the country. Housing is an issue for all New Zealanders to be concerned about. If houses in Auckland, inflation in housing in Auckland is out of control, that ultimately leads to increasing interest rates. It leads, which causes ripples throughout the New Zealand economy, and making sure that we've got on top of that issue is a very serious priority for this government. And so the government has been guided, particularly by the work of the Productivity Commission, in looking at housing affordability, and there are lots of factors, but the supply of land is an important one. And so I commend the work of Nick Smith in conjunction with Auckland Council on the plans that he's got there to free up supply and get the houses built so as to make housing more affordable for Aucklanders. But the Unitary Plan is a very important part of that mix long term, and it's depending on how good a plan it is, it may help or it may hinder Aucklanders to get into their homes, but it also affects their lives in so many, many different ways. And the first iteration of that plan that we saw certainly wasn't perfect. There is a sense that maybe the council has bitten off more than it can chew. I'm certainly concerned about extra costs being put on in the drafts that I've seen. There's a requirement, I understand, to have new commercial buildings to have 5-star ratings for green. That's not exactly the way, it seems to me, to make sure that we can build properties and get businesses into factories and offices cheaply as possible. We need to have flexibility rather than necessarily having ideological blinkers from planners demanding that they do things X, Y, Z, regardless of the cost. There's also been a very significant concern in the community, particularly around Epsom, where I'm based, about some elements of the intensification, and there's a real balance to be struck between spreading out and intensifying. I'm not sure that they've got it right, and I again am concerned about some of the ideological blinkers of some of the planners who, if they're not carefully controlled, could lead to the housing dreams of many New Zealanders being lost. And so it's quite appropriate that I'm amazed that anybody would think it would be a good idea to make the plan operative immediately on notification, given the size of the task and the scale of it. So we need to have, or to have legal weight even, we need to, I think the government has absolutely got it right in not taking that step. And then we've heard a lot of complaints from Mr Twyford and others that moving to the hearing panel, that somehow that the council should be appointing all the hearing panels people. That would be, I think, a dreadful outcome. It's about they're setting the rules. It's very important that this process has clear independence, and it's nothing to do with arrogance. It's about making sure that Aucklanders, in a plan that will affect their lives over the next 3 or 4 decades, and has been proposed by an Auckland Council, very strong direction from the Auckland Council about what they want to do. It's about intensification, it's about all sorts of plans and theories. It's very important that Aucklanders can see that there is an independent group of highly qualified people who can go through that plan line by line, and the council can advocate for its argument, but people can see that there is strong independence there, and I think that's absolutely appropriate. The Select Committee did hear a lot of submissions on this, and we've made some significant changes around some of the opportunities for reviewing some of the hearing panel's decisions. So if the hearing panel is making a recommendation outside the scope of submissions, then people have an opportunity that they have to make it very clear that they are. And then we recommend changes to Section 150, which I think are important, to provide a clear right of appeal to the Environment Court, where the Auckland Council has amended a provision recommended by the hearings panel. And we also recommend enabling a merit-based appeal to the Environment Court where the hearing panel makes a recommendation identified as out of scope. Because people were concerned that in the original plan, if the hearing panel just dreamed up something new, there hadn't been debate, and suddenly passed it, and if the Council agreed, Mr Chair, then we would have a lack of appeal rights, and so we've made those changes, and we're also aware of the concern about the combined effects of section 139. So on that, we've made significant changes, and on that basis I commend this bill.
The Honourable Marianne Street.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair, and rise to speak to part 2 of the Resource Management Reform Bill. Mr Chairman, there are two